10 minutes past 7. That's too much. We don't do African time in Canada, right?
No, nothing like
Yeah,
that.
so let us roll into it right away. And so I'm going to be saying thank you, Mr. Akeem, for joining us, for obliging us to be with us today to be part of this session and giving us information that we need as business people, because some of the people that are here, they are interested in starting their own business. Canada Naija Business Hub is about Naija business in Canada, like Nigeria-owned businesses. So we are coming together to help ourselves with information. I benefited a lot from information during my processing my PR. We're moving from one group to another, from E to PR to PMP groups, and even to ARS, I mean AOR or something group. We had groups for every stage of our processing, and it really helped us. And what happened on those groups? We were sharing information. People will share stories. Oh, they've been in this situation. Someone say, oh, I got a letter and I'm in this situation. Who has been in this situation? Somebody will come up, oh, this is what I did. And the person will apply that and it will work for the person. And that was so amazing, sharing free information. And that is what Canada Naija Business Hub is all about. We share business information, and we are trying to coach a lot of business people that have established in Canada to come join our group so that they can hold our hands through establishing our businesses in Canada. What we've come to do, like my husband would say, that we're already too late coming at this age to Canada. We don't have all the time to build all, doing 8 hours and building enough resources. Of course, our children are going to benefit greatly, but in terms of creating wealth, I don't think it's going to be a 9-to-5 job. I think we need to look at other sources. And one of the sources which I think is very viable for us as Nigerians is business. And that's what we are trying to encourage on Canada Naija Business Hub, CNB Hub for short. And also we created this pathway, we call it Market Square Chat, where we just come and gist about having conversation with people that have established businesses in Canada, how they are able to navigate starting the business, the murky waters, what are the challenges they face, and how are they able to stabilize and fully establish their business, and want to just glean wisdom from those conversations. So it's actually like a very serious Zoom session. Thank you, Mr. Akeem, for coming today. We are for giving us your time, really, and willing to share with us this information that we are really, really looking out for. And so I'm going to be starting by asking that you should tell us about yourself. We want to meet you properly. I don't want to introduce you because really that would be just reading stuff to people. We need to hear from you, right? So please tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me, though. Yeah, it's difficult talking about myself because it's not sweet in the mouth of the owner. Well, my name is Akeem AJOPRO. Originally, I'm from Nigeria. I came here like 9 years ago. So I'm a co-founder of Azure Pro, or Rakumi International. And Rakumi owns Azure Pro and other software companies. For example, Rakumi owns Food House over time. Rakumi owns Udistro. Rakumi owns TASAP. These are software that are in different stages of their life, but most people know us for Azure Pro. So it's a company that we started 4 years ago in Manitoba. Over the last 4 years, we've gone from just being a Manitoba company to a federally incorporated company in Canada. Yeah, we have on Azure Pro, we have more than 1,000 users across Canada. Yeah, our app have been downloaded more than 1,300 times. Yeah, our transaction for 2022 was about $5 million in transactions. So yeah, I think that's the small introduction. I know we are doing good as a small business, and we're getting things out there. We have a launch that is coming up for our version 2 on June 3rd. That will hold in Soul Sanctuary. Yeah, and I run the organization with a couple of teams. That's all.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And so just because I said earlier that the reason why we are is just is based on two things: ability to get information about starting our business in Canada, and that leads me to my next question. So I want to ask, what motivated you into going into business in Canada? You know, when we were coming, you know, we had business of coming to make dollars, you know, doing the work, putting in the house and getting converting it to naira. One today, 1 naira is 570. You know, just get that dollar, change to naira, send it home and all that. But you got here and you now thought, oh, like, I need to do a business, right? So what motivated you into doing business in Canada?
That's an interesting question. For me, business is in my DNA. Like, entrepreneurship is part of me from the beginning. My dad runs like a small business in the northern part of Nigeria where I grew up. My mom also run, you know, some things in, Kano market. So it's like, it's part of the family. It's something that I'm used to. I don't think I've worked for anybody in Nigeria. I started my company in Nigeria when I was 25, when I was still in the university. So I wrote the first online version of cooperative software in Nigeria. It was called Cookbook. Yeah, I mean, I have big companies like Ernest & Young, Total, PPMC, Roxon Engineering, PZ, using my software in Nigeria before I came to Canada. So when I came to Canada, I mean, that was my first time working for somebody, but I felt that I should go back to what I know how to do best, right? So I was working and I had the opportunity of, starting something aside. Actually, I knew in Canada that, just like you mentioned, right? When we came to Canada, I mean, I was doing some research and I spoke with my wife that, look, we have less than 22 years to work in Canada. And if you read Canadian economics very well, you know that you need an average of $1.7 million to retire well. So if I'm going to save $1.7 million in 22 years, then you know it's not going to work, right? It's definitely not going to work. So it's those thinking processes that led me to, I know that it's not just possible, at this stage to raise that kind of money by working. So I felt we need something aside. So that led me to, thinking about what can we do? So created a distro, it failed, and we created Azure Pro, and we got a success from it. And then we are still working on creating that platform. Yeah, so that's
Thank you for
my.
that. So can we say that Azure Pro is a fintech?
Well, definitely Azure Pro is a fintech. It's just like, I would call it a community fintech. Okay. And the reason we try to make it, we try to add that appellation, community, because we felt that it is revolving around community, more than, when you're doing something that you think will benefit the community, that is not like profit centered, right? Of course, we make profits, that's not to be denied, but we are not like out there to make profits, maximum profit. We are out there to help our community, to make sure that our community is also, getting ahead in Canada. So that's why we prefer to always use that appellation. It's a community-based platform.
Okay, so as a fintech, what were the regulatory requirements you needed to meet before you were able to establish?
Yeah, so in Canada, there are tons of regulations, right, that you need to meet depending on the industry that you are in. So us in finance, for example, one of the requirements when we started was FINTECH. And that was what was in our mind, that we needed to get FINTECH, which we did. So we got our FINTECH number. And then after like 2-3 years, we began to get more insight into what FINTECH actually is, right? The regulations around FINTECH. So our lawyer came up with what we call a legal opinion. She believed that based on the business model that we are into. It does not have anything to do with FINTECH. So, of course, we call them, have a conversation with them, and we deregister from that. Apart from that, there are other, there's company registration, for example, that you need to do to get your company registered. There are licenses that you need to have. And in terms of intellectual property, we also try to make sure that our software has a copyright from the government of Canada. And then we also have a trademark for it. Yeah, but every regulatory this thing that we're supposed to have, we do have it. But everything changes, right? So FINTECH can come up tomorrow and say, okay, your business is now under FINTECH. So we try our best to make sure that we have every appropriate licensing that we need to have to operate our business.
Great. Okay, so I know that starting a business could be challenging either in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, right? And being in a foreign land, it's not your father's land, like we'll say, your mother's land. So what were the challenges you encountered while trying to register to start your business, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges that you encounter, especially as a Black business, right? But they are not like unsurmountable. There are things that you just have to be dogged and continue to work on it to make sure that you get what you needed. I remember one of the challenges I had when we wanted to start this business was getting, a bank to really understand our business model and bank us, right? So it was a very big issue. We approached several banks. Most of them just didn't get the idea. It's just not flowing through, right? So, but eventually we got one. And over time, we've expanded banking operation to other banks and credit unions as well. So ultimately, I think depending on the industry, there are different challenges. But for us, our challenge was around, getting the bankers to understand what we do, right?
Yeah.
Another problem we definitely face is in the capital area, right? Sometimes you need capital to do a lot of things. So we have to do self-financing. Until recently, when we were able to get BKR Capital, becoming very interested and involved in our business and wanting to meet us. We've met them for 2 times now. We have our 3rd meeting with them on the 31st of May.
Okay.
So, and we're able to get BKR Capital involved because I guess they are designed to work with Black businesses, right? So, and it's owned by Black people, I guess, too. So, a capital, one, and then getting the banking industry itself to really understand what we do was a lot of challenge for us.
I can imagine. Okay. AJOPRO. The only one I know. Okay, if I want to look at the brand name, Ajo strikes me like I know what Ajo is. AJOPRO. Like, what's the pro? Ajo professional, right? Alajo.
Well, our brand guys will say Pro Clan, So the Pro in Azure Pro stands for.
I don't like the way you call it. So, what is Azure Pro? Like, it's not Azure Pro, it's Azure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Azure technically. Yeah, but
we need to one is like I think I'm digressing. Being a brand person, I'm a brand consultant, and a Chinese man will not be apologetic about their brand name, right?
We are not.
Yeah, you have to struggle to call it whatever they call it, right?
We are not actually.
Let them know it is Azure Pro, right? It's not Azure Pro, it's Azure Pro.
So Azure Pro, for example, the Pro Clan is just a term for professional understanding of finance. What we want to do basically is to make people understand the way finance works.
Okay.
My belief is once people begin to understand the way money works, it changes everything about us. It changes the way we spend our money, where we spend our money, to whom we spend our money, and how we live our life. Once you know the way money works, everything about you changes. Your decisions are, more articulated, more calculated. You don't just do something because you want to do it, right? So, and you can still see in our community that many people live above their means, right? They still want to live that life that I'm in Canada, I can do whatever I want to do, right? But fact is, money doesn't work like that. Money doesn't think like that. My dad would say money is a shadow. And you run after it, it runs away from you. But when you leave it and use your time to create value, money runs after you when you run away from it. So one of the reasons we say professional is that we wanted to bring that consciousness that you can be a professional in the way you use your money, in the way you save, in the way you there's this concept in Azure Pro that we said building wealth by reducing the amount of money you use to create that wealth. So a good example to understand that is this. You want to build wealth by reducing how much it costs you to build that wealth. Take a good example. If you are buying a house of $500,000 in Canada for 25 years, even if the interest rate is 3.5, you will pay $381,000 in 25 years in interest. What if you are able to pay just $50,000 in interest? You would have reduced or saved yourself $250,000, right? Yeah. You can do that by paying off your house mortgage in 10 years. You would have saved yourself more than $200,000. So the whole concept is we're trying to reduce the amount we need to create that wealth in the first place. So imagine in Azure Pro, that most of the interest you pay on your car loan, the interest you pay in your down payment, the interest you pay on your credit card, the interest you pay on your student loan. Imagine if you have a platform like Azure Pro that can help you reduce that interest, cut it by, by 10%, cut it by 50%. Imagine the amount of work you will do in 25 years. So those are the thoughts behind those words, I would say, professional, just becoming a professional in the way you understand money.
So you're not just like an IT person, but you have financial understanding. So combining that makes the platform works to achieve its purpose, really. And I think you've spoken about my next question, set some of the things I wanted to ask, but I'll still go ahead and ask, because the question is, tell us about Azure Pro. What inspired it, your success story, and the journey so far? So 3 things. What inspired Azure Pro? Tell us your success story. I think you mentioned something the other time, how much you're able to that's passed through the platform in like how many years. So I want to just can emphasize that again, then the journey so far, and what is the next level?
Yeah.
Okay, let's skip the next level later because I'm sure you're excited to talk about that. But just tell us about what inspired you, your success story, and the journey so far.
So when I came to Canada like 9 years ago, one of the very first challenge that I faced was I needed money to do a particular project. And when you walk on the street of Winnipeg, you see people just telling you, hey, there's a payday loan there, you can get money there. I've never heard about payday loan before in my life. So I thought, well, if I can get money to do what I'm going to get, that would be nice. I mean, I'm making money, I'll pay it back. Because it was technically difficult at that time to actually, get, credit cards. They have some amount of money they are giving you, maybe $1,000, right? They gave us like 3,000 when we came. I think it's 1,000 they are giving now, most of the banks, but they gave us 3,000 when we came. But that 3,000 wasn't enough for me to do what I wanted to do. So I took $10,000 from the payday loan. And then I soon realized that, wait, I'm paying this money, but the money is not going down. I was paying vigorously, but the money was not going down. So when I sat down to like drill down into the devil, I saw that, well, I'm technically paying 442% in interest.
What?
Yeah, 442% in interest. Whoa. And it's actually supported by the government of Canada. If you Google payday loan and you ask what is the interest, government of Canada will tell you 442%. So when I saw that, I told my wife that this is a big, big, big problem. If I have to pay 442%, and most people would not know, you just keep paying and it will not just go down. So what I did was, enter into a group of Azure, collected money from that Azure and paid it off. So it was that time I thought about it that way. I can solve a lot of problems for most of our community people just by automating the Azure idea. And the problems with Azure is very clear and very simple. And it happened to us too. If one of us during that time just lose their job and could not pay back, that Azure is over.
Yeah.
If one of us collect that money and refuse to pay back for share of any reason, that Azure is over. What if the person collects the money and he dies? Because we don't own our life, right? Nobody owns their life. Anything can happen. He collects the money and then he dies. That Azure is over. So these were the fundamental problems, that were bugging the concept of Azure, that is stopping you from doing that you cannot scale it. You can't scale it because of this problem. So I'm like, what if we can automate this problem and solve this problem? That would change the whole face of Azure. And that was what we set to do. So in our first year, our idea was solve the fundamental problem that Azure has. We created about 8 problems. And in our first version of Azure Pro, we solved all those 8 problems.
Awesome.
So by solving those problems, Azure now becomes scalable. Something we can scale, something we can have millions of people using, right? And that is how we created Azure Pro. One of the other problems we try to solve in Azure that most people don't know is what economics will call Pareto principle, right? If you look at it, if I'm doing Azure with you, you take number 1 in January, you take 1,000, right? Somebody else take number 10 in October, you take 1,000. But every simple economist know that, even in a primary school economics, we know that $1,000 today is not $1,000 in 10 months. What you can buy with your $1,000 today, you cannot buy that same thing in 10 months with $1,000. So how come will I save in Azure? Our company will get number 1, pay off his own loan or do a business. And then I will wait for 10 months, and then I'll get the same 1,000. So we're like, we need to solve that problem. That was the second fundamental problem we solved for Azure. We created an algorithm that actually computes the time value of money on every Azure you take. So by doing that, we have technically solved, the traditional problem that Azure has. Hence, we can scale it to any length. So that's the basis of, creating. That's our inspiration for creating, Azure Pro. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember the last question you asked on that.
Yeah, so I asked about the journey so far, like your success story, right? But before you go into that, I want to ask, so we are doing like a job for 10 people, and based on the algorithm you set up, so does it mean that the 10th person is not going to get 10,000? Will it be more than that? Definitely.
So what Azure Pro does is it computes the value of the money every time you make payment. So let's take a simple one. Let's take $100 for 10 months. First month, Azure Pro may say your money is $100. Second month, it may say your money is 101. So let's take the person that takes number 1 in Azure of 10. 1,000 times 10, that is $1,000. That is 100 times 10, that is $1,000. Yeah. So somebody who needs that money will say, I need that money now. We'll give it to him. It's taking the money based on the value of that money at that time.
Yes.
In month number 5, the value of that money may be 104. So 104 times 10, that is $1,000 and what? And $40, right?
Yes.
So if you are taking position 4, you are taking it based on the value of the money at that time, which is 104. So we are giving you $1,040.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question. That $40 on it, where is it coming from? Because everybody is dropping 100.
No, can you repeat that?
Okay, so everyone is dropping 100, right?
No, they are not dropping 100. First month, everybody dropped 100.
Okay.
Second month, everybody dropped $101.
Oh.
Third month, everybody dropped $102. Fourth month, everybody dropped $104, like that. The value of the money is changing based on time.
Makes sense.
So let's say you get to number 10, the value of the money is now $109. So if you waited for 10 months, you are not collecting $100, you are collecting $109.
Oh, yeah.
You see, so we solve that problem of, somebody collects number 1, take 1,000, then number 10, after 10 more, 1,000 again. Anybody with sense will always want to take number 1. So in Azure Pro, people are not disturbed about taking number 1. You know why? Because they know if I take class, I will get more than I put in.
Oh, yeah.
And if I take number 1, I already have what I want to do with it.
I get it. So it's 50-50. People already have questions, right? Should we start taking questions? We still have a lot of
I'm ready.
Vanji, I can see your hand up, please. I don't know. Well, should Vanji jump in now? Or should just cover? Okay, Vanji, unmute yourself and tell us, ask your question.
Yes, thank you. I just still wanted to ride on that discussion of if the first person picks the same value, the 10th person will pick something higher. So that increase, is it an assumption or is it based on inflation, that time value of money? I just wanted to understand how it's calculated, or is it just fixed?
Excellent question, Mr. Banji. What we did is based on inflation. So we have some parameters that we put into our algorithm. One of them is inflation. And then it breaks it down. Say, for example, inflation is 2%, right? We put that value into our system, like it's 2%. And then it looks at how many months are you doing your job. You are doing it for 24 hours, for example, or 12 hours. You also take that as a parameter into the whole equation. At the end of the day, that algorithm will break that into how much money will be added into your job to meet up for that inflation in 10 years, or in 12 months, or in 1 year, depending on the number of actions that you are doing. So it's actually, yeah, you're right. The time value of money that we're doing is based on inflationary increase that we put into our system. And it's adjustable, right? For example, now, the inflation is high, right? We move this up a little bit, right? If the inflation is low, we reduce it back a little bit. So the value of the money fluctuates based on inflation. Yeah.
So what if the value drops? Does it mean that people are going to pay less than $100?
So it depends. For example, every day, Canada, a Bank of Canada will post what is the inflation point that we have. So we call that API into our system, and it does that algorithm and compute everything and predict going. I'm not sure anybody can pay more than $100 because if you choose, let's say you are making, so the way Azure Pro works is you actually say, I need 10,000. Because what we are trying to do, okay, maybe that's version 2 anyway. Let's still stay on version 1. So if you remember, that $100 is what you selected that you want to do. So it knows you want to do $100 for 10 months. That's the 1,000.
Yeah.
So what the system will do now is, if you look at the inflation, look at every other parameter, your number of cycles, your modules and everything, and then compute how much would it be? How much would that your $100 be in 10 months?
10 months.
And then break it down for everybody and say, okay, in this month, the value is now $100. Next month, when you want to pay, it's going to say the value, I'm just giving 101 as an example. You say the value is 101. You see? And all of you will contribute that 101. Then next day 102. So by the time all of you contributed this money in 10 months, you would have contributed the same amount of money. Everybody would have contributed $1,045. But all of them will take different amounts. Number one would have contributed 1,045, they will only take 1,000. Number two would have contributed 1,045, they will take $1,010. You see, wage splits on. So that's
nobody's split. It's a 50-50 thing. If you're going to be number 10, they have to be compensated
for everybody. Yeah. Okay. So we compensate those people who defer their own expenses for the benefit of those who need the money today. Immediately,
makes sense. Yes. It makes a whole lot of sense. So I was even asking, what is the process for getting access to funds on Azure Pro that can help finance our dream in Canada? But I think you said a bit about it, but maybe you can just elaborate more. So we are a pool of 10 people contributing. So how do we pick numbers? How do we know who goes first, who goes second, who goes 10th, right? So what's the process for accessing funds at whatever time you need it?
That's also a very interesting question. In Azure Pro, we have what we call, character rating. It's also an algorithm that computes your behavior on the system. From the day you join, the system uses about 5 parameters to map you. Now, the way you behave on the system determines on where you can take and what you can take. So let's assume you are a new person. You just come into Azure Pro. It will automatically put you in the last position. But let's say you are making your payment correctly every time. It will start moving you forward. Let's say now you have moved to position 5. You are sure you can take position 5. And then you have a late payment once. If you move it to position 7. So once you start your Azure Pro and it tells you your position is number 7, to get that position, you must make that payment consistently without any late payment. One single late payment will move you back.
No,
so if you keep making late payments, you will always take last position. That's the way it works.
And it will be obvious, you will see the reason why you are.
You will see everything in your platform. You will see your rating. You will see where they are. You will see your position, which is called biddable position. That is the position you can collect money from. But any single late payment will change that position to 2 points backward. Actually, what we do is, let's say, for example, for $100. For every $100 you pay correctly, that is on time, you get 1 point. For every $100 you pay late, you get minus 2 points. And once you go down minus, it will complete your position.
So that even encourages people to pay on time, because that's what
that discipline.
I'm just assuming that that is one of the problems you identified. You talked about, you identified about 8 problems that you needed to solve. Exactly. And I think that algorithm helps to solve that. So people know they need to be responsible, pay on time, and it positions them to pick whatever they need at the right time, right?
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So as soon as you get that position, it's now your responsibility to make sure you can get that position. And what you need to do, you need to make your payment on time. Any single late payment will shift that position for you.
Okay. So let's go to the next level now, knowing the journey so far. So what should we be expecting on the new platform? I know you're launching a new platform on the 3rd of June, right? In Winnipeg. So we're inviting everyone on this call for that launch. If you're in Winnipeg, please join us as we unveil the Azure Pro version 2, right?
Version 2. Azure Pro 2.0 is another beast of its own.
Right? So
and I'm inviting everybody to Soul Sanctuary from 12 o'clock to 2:30 on June 3rd. This will be an awesome event. We are expecting about 500 participants across Canada. We have started a team in the US. They will be showing up. We have a team in Edmonton. They'll be showing up. We have a team in Calgary. They'll be showing up. So this is, and we are going to be giving a lot of gifts to people who have been with us for these 4 years. So I encourage you, if you are in Winnipeg on that day, please show up. You are going to have, see a lot of cool things that we have done. So
let me just finish the question. What should we expect from the platform, and how is it different from the existing one?
Exactly. Thank you. So Azure Pro 2.0 came from the womb of Azure Pro 1.0. We've done Azure Pro 1.0 for 4 years, and we have seen the challenges again that we need to see. One thing that happens to us as human beings, we see in parts, we understand in parts. We don't have full picture of things when we do it. When we did Azure Pro 1.0, we did it based on our understanding. But as time goes on, as we begin to see, we begin to see that somebody said he's going to do 1,000. After 3-4 months, he lost his job. He can no longer afford 1,000. You know, somebody said, I want to do 200. After 2 months, he got a new job and he can now do 500. Situations are changing, you know, as we've done in Canada. So we need to adapt our system to think the way the society is moving, not to just be rigid. So what we did with 2.0 is, instead of you telling Azure Pro how much you want to do, how much you want to contribute, we want you to tell Azure Pro how much you want to collect. And allow Azure Pro to do the planning for you. So now in 2.0, you are just going to say, I need 20,000 for, so you're going to create a milestone, because we're also thinking in terms of how many problems have we solved.
Yeah.
You know, in version 1, we can't tell how many people have bought houses in Azure Pro. We can't tell how many people have bought cars. Now we want to think in terms of how many tasks, how many projects, how many targets are we helping to meet. So you create a milestone and say, I want to buy a car. You know, I want to save for down payment. I want to pay off my student loan. You know, so these are now targets. We call them milestones. When you create this milestone, you can turn them to a contribution. You know, so now in version 2.0, you are going to say, I want to buy a car. It is $15,000. This is my income. This is my expenses. What 2.0 will do is it will calculate your disposable income and use 40% of that your disposable income to compute how much you can actually afford without breaking your bank. And if you still achieve that target for you, remember, even though it's 15,000 and you can only do 300, it can create 2 Azure for you and say, okay, complete 1 and get back to back. You see, complete 7,000. If you can only afford 3,000 and 3,000 can only get you 7,000, if you say, okay, complete that 7,000, then we will give you back to back. What does that mean? We will give you the next Azure that follows. So instead of you getting 7,000, you are getting 15,000 out. So this system is smarter, is more intelligent, is learning, you know, to look at what you have, your expenses, and then your income, and then help you to create plans, maybe 5 or 6 plans, and then you can choose any of those plans that you think is going to be better for you.
Awesome. Wow. Like, I'm really excited because of a number of things. I've been here for like, I don't know, maybe 7-8 months, and I've seen people struggling. And it actually gives me joy because this is actually preferring a solution to a problem that is common to all. People have issues with finances, managing their finances, putting resources together to achieve certain dreams here in Canada. And I'm seeing that this is a platform that can really help to achieve, solve those problems. And just like what we were saying previously about starting a business, you must be able to solve a problem. You don't chase money. When you solve problem, money chases you, right? And this is really exciting because I can see people being able to fund their dream, like we said, fund their dream, make down payment for houses, make, you know, maybe even they want to start a business, yes, right? And the good thing is that this is interest-free, right? Because if you go to the bank, there'll be interest. So tell us about the interest-free part.
So this is wonderful, you know, because some of us, interest is a very complicated thing for us, right? Yeah. Mennonite, Jew,
I didn't understand my credit card.
We don't want to pay interest.
How it
for
works.
Me, it's not that I don't want to pay interest. For me, I just feel that the interest is too much. I pay interest in my house, in my car, in my grocery, in my everything, you know. So is there a way for me to reduce the amount I pay in interest? Is there a way to, you know, even remove the interest completely? This is one of the problems that is so exciting about Azure Pro. We call it zero interest rate concept. It's a simple algorithm that helps us to actually get you money in Azure Pro for free. Because one of the biggest challenges people have with Azure Pro we work with Azure Pro we started was, but you people are going to be paying interest. Now, my normal Azure, I don't pay interest, but now I'm going to be paying interest. So what this concept does is this. We try to explain it to you. You are not paying interest on Azure Pro. So let me give you the example of what the way it works. A good example is, let's say somebody has been doing Azure Pro for 2 years. In that 2 years, they've done 6 Azure contributions, 6 contributions. The first contribution, let's just make it simple, $100. The first contribution, the person took last position. Azure Pro give that person $9 extra on their money. You get that? Hold that in your hand. Person this second Azure took last position. He got $9. Now he got how much? $18.
18 years.
Third position, this person has a good rating now. He has qualified to take position number 1. So he took number 1 and he paid Azure Pro $45. Are you getting it?
Mm-hmm.
Then he did number 4, number 5, number 6, and took last position and also got $9, $9. How many times have you gotten $9 from Azure Pro? 5 times. 9 times 5, $45. How many times Azure Pro collect money from you? 1 time. How much they collect? $45. 45 minus 45. What does that mean? Let's bring it to where you can understand it. It means every single cent, every single dollar you pay into Azure Pro when you take money, you can get that money back by just continuing to do your Azure Pro and shift your position from taking first to later position. You see? So instead of taking earlier position, move towards later position. And then every single dollar you pay to Azure Pro, you will get it back. You see that concept?
Yeah.
So let's say you take $20,000 from Azure Pro and you are paying $1,000. All you need to do is do the next 3-4 Azure. Don't take first position. The $1,000 you pay Azure Pro, you will get it back. If you give 442% to your line of credit or your payday loan, will they give you back? If you give 22% to your credit card, will they give you back? Or your line of credit, will they give you back?
Anytime I see it, my heart is beat.
Like and then think about it this way. Think about it. The money you are giving, you're actually giving it to your community. Someone in your community is taking that money. And is using that money. You know, you are able to circulate that money within your community. That person may be a business owner, and the money goes to him. When you too, you don't need money, you put your money, somebody else take that money, they give you back that money. You see? So it's a revolving cycle. The money goes out of you when you need it urgently. The money comes back to you when you don't need it. That is the concept of Azure Pro.
Awesome.
So technically, you don't pay a dime on Azure Pro.
Awesome. So how do you make money on Azure Pro?
This always makes me laugh.
You have to let us into your secret.
People always ask me this thing, like, well, how do you make money? And I mean, I usually laugh because, you know, this is the way I look at it. You know, when we were using, before 1998 or 1990, all of us were using, nobody was using Yahoo, right? Mail. We're all using AOL, OneBox, Hotmail, and things like that, right? And we're paying, it's not free. Not free. But then Yahoo came and Yahoo said, look, I'm going to give you 128 MB for free. Don't pay me, just be using your mail. And within 6 months, 4.2 billion people were using Yahoo Mail. You know what Yahoo did? They created a new revenue model for banner. And then they went to Guinness and other people and said, look, I have 4.2 billion people using my software. You can pay me and I'll advertise to this 4.2 billion people for you. They shifted the revenue model from the users, you know, to the people that need your data. In Azure Pro, we also have a way we make revenue. We have a way we make money. But that's our trade system. Just like the banking space, you don't bank will tell you how to make money. But I will tell you one. To use Azure Pro, you definitely have to register. You have to pay us. I mean, Now you have to pay us $25. After June 4th, you have to pay us $50.
That's vulgar money.
Yeah, that's vulgar money.
So
that's one way you make money. There are other ways you also make money in Azure Pro. You see? So, but that's generally how we make money. And frankly, we are making money because if we don't make money, we can't be in business for this long, right? But now we have transacted more than $5 million on Azure Pro. Even if we are making 1%, you can see.
Fine, yeah. So another question that's coming to my mind is, okay, so at work you have shift, right? So you're working on Monday to Friday this time, and you needed a day off. You can swap your shift with someone, right? Trade shift, right? So if the system is telling me, oh, you are number 5 and I need this money as number 3, can I swap? Can I also?
There are several functions. One of those functions is what we just mentioned: swapping, switching. They are all there.
Oh,
there's also one thing we call it quick cash. What does quick cash mean? You are doing your Azure. You need money urgently and you cannot swap, you cannot switch. We'll give you, let's say you have contributed, you want to go to 10,000, but you are in 7,000. We'll give you 90% of that money and your Azure will still continue. We'll give you the rest of that money after your Azure.
Oh, great. Thank you. Also, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes,
thank you so much, Mr.
Okay, Akeem, just a quick question. Nice concept.
Thank you.
But I want to hear from you. Is there any form of insurance built into this entire process? Because I know at some point during the collection, the funds is in your custody. Regardless of whoever is speaking, the funds is in your custody at some point. So do you have any form of maybe insurance built into this entire concept?
That's a very good question. And people always ask those questions. But let me answer it this way. The question is, does bank actually have insurance? In Canada, we say there's a CDIC that insure your money, right? But the question that we should be asking is, how much of your money are they insuring? $100,000 of your money. So I put $1 million in my account. If the bank collapses today, I only get $100,000. Is that an insurance? So I want us to think out of the box. I don't want us to be, brainwashed by, people thinking that my money is insured in money. That's the first thing I want to put out. Now, let me tell you how we insure our money. Every single dollar, every single cent you pay, we use credit union. In credit union, 100% of your money is insured. So not just 100,000 of your money. 100% of the money we put in credit union is insured, right? So we know that concept, and we're not putting your money in bank. Number 2, we don't invest your money. Remember? People collect the money. Of course, somebody can collect the money and die. We have a process to take care of that. Somebody can collect the money and not pay. We have a process to do that. And that's why we say, don't worry about your friends, because you're not doing Azure with your friends. You are doing Azure with Azure Pro. We have created our own method, our own in-house proprietary, system that we believe would work. And it has worked for 4 years, right? And we have thousands of users who use it. And we have hundreds of reviews on Google and on Apple, right? That you can read and get what people are saying about it, how they've been using it, they lost their money or this. One thing I always tell my team is, believe in yourself, believe in your own system. I don't allow anybody to fool me or brainwash me and say that because bank has this insurance thing. I don't believe in it. I do my research. I look at how does it benefit me. When I told my team that we need to move our money to credit union, most of them like, why? Bank, I said, bank would not insure your money. We're not putting 200,000 in the bank. We're putting millions of dollars in the bank. If that bank collapses, we're only getting 100,000. So, but you're asking this question now, believing that we will have an insurance. An insurance is a totally different thing. Can we create a system, a way that will not need that, If yes, don't we do that? But I'll tell you in the future, we do have a plan to have an insurance company outside of Azure Pro. So for example, if you are doing $1,000, if I ask you to put $12 to insure it, and let's assume we have 1 million users on Azure Pro, and you are doing 1,000, I say, put $2 to insure your district. Would you put it? Yes. And that will create another company entirely that will insure what we are having. But we can't stop our business right now because we don't have an insurance on it. Does that help you, Mr. Ose?
Yes, sir, yeah. Mr. Ose.
Yeah, yes, it does partly. And the reasons why I'm asking this is because when you deal with business entities, in the traditional Agile that we do, you even when you have a list of people you can do Agile with, you want to pick those you can trust in the midst of the people you know. So that's why I'm asking that question, because I know for a lot of users that may want to join, come into this very platform, the primary thing in their mind would be if their money is secured also. I think is something that everybody thinks about, but I think it's okay. Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you in terms of security of your money and everybody is concerned. But here is the thing that I want us to see. In life, you have to trust something, because trust does not mean I just see you today and I trust you, right? Trust is you see a chair, you sit on that chair and it holds you. That's where trust starts. Trust starts by connection. Trust does not start on its own. We have 1,300 users who have trusted us, who have believed in us, and have seen that we have not failed them, right? It's just that when you go to apply for a job and you come to me and after interviewing you, I say, oh, sorry, you are from Nigeria, you don't have experience, maybe, and I don't want to take you because of that. How will you feel? You will say, oh, but try me first, right?
No,
I've been a manager for how many years now? So I know when I interview people and you don't have any experience, they're like, when I'm like, they were like, oh, but try me first now. Trust starts from trying something. I've had people who try AJOPRO with $100, but they can do 1,000. They will try $100. Oh, the day their money is supposed to come out, system will send them alert. Check out your money. They check out 8 hours. They see their money in their account. Oh, this will work. Okay, maybe I should trust it. Next time they do 200. Now they are doing 1,000. Now if you call, they will say, relax. You trust AJOPRO, don't worry yourself. Right? Now they go on Facebook. They will go on Google and put there that we trust AJOPRO. Why? Because it's trust. Because the system is fully automated. Mind you, everybody in Azure Pro, there's no woman in Azure Pro. I'm a software engineering manager, and I've been doing that work for many years. One of my partners, Dr. Pena, is a CEO of a cooperative. He's retired, but his income is more than what other people are doing when they are doing this job. One of my partners is a senior manager, the director in one of the IT companies. And most of the people in my team are quality people, not anyhow people. I have people in my team who are actually, people who understand the way money works, people who understand economy, who understand finance, people who have traded all these things globally. So we're not just setting a company here and say we want the company to fail, right? We want to be the first Black-owned company in Canada that people can say has gone globally. And we can only do it when we trust us. When we put that trust in ourselves and build that community, just like a Jewish man will trust his own Jew man and give him his money. Just like a Chinese man will collect money and go to Chinese store. But when we collect our money, we go to love. That's what we are trying to change here. When you collect your money, come to one of us, come to that Black community, spend that money. There's a research that we normally read in my team. The research is from selling school or business. And it says what? It says money stays, one time in the Black community. That same money stays 6 times in the Latino community. That same money stays 9 times in Asian community. You say, but that same money stays unlimited time in the Jewish and the white community. How? When a Jewish man or a white man takes money, his paycheck, he goes to Loblaw. He goes to, Giant Tiger. He goes to Canadian Tire. Who owns those companies? Why? But when a black man takes his own money, your salary comes in today. Where do you go to? Chinese restaurant.
It's true.
Where do you go to next?
I was there.
Where do you go to next? Giant Tiger. That is the concept that we are trying to change. And you cannot change this kind of concept by not having force, by not building force, right? So that's the way I will answer that question. I hope that satisfies you a little bit.
I'll say.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that brings me to the next question. Please, if you have questions, you can either drop them now or after this last question I'm asking, not actually the last, second to the last. I want people to ask their question before asking my final question. This question is, what would you say are the benefits of doing business in Canada? I'm really pained what you just mentioned, that we are not collaborative as Nigerians. It's so painful. There was a video I dropped in our group on a Canada NaijaBusiness of someone making an analysis of how Africans behave to each other or to one another. And when you see the Indian community, the difference is so clear. They patronize each other, they work together, and I'm just like, what exactly is our problem as Black people or as even Nigerians? And my mother would say, on Mother's Day, we went to a Chinese restaurant. On Easter, I went to a Chinese restaurant, and my mother said, if someone comes up with this kind of concepts and say, okay, there's a buffet that is African dishes that Nigerians do not patronize it, and we're arguing, I said, they will. He said, they won't. But really, I don't think they will. Just like you said, we are not encouraging ourselves, we are not patronizing each other, we are not sharing, we are distancing ourselves as we distance ourselves from one another, but we don't see that in other communities. And in starting business, really, are we really helping ourselves? Are we sharing information? Are we encouraging other people to start business? So my question is, what would you say are the benefits of doing business in Canada? I know we are all here working, some are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, but my own aim here in Canada is to encourage people to do business. And so I just want you to, you've been a business person, what would you say are the benefits of doing business in Canada as Nigerians?
Thank you. So let me answer this question this way. The Canadian system is not built for workers. And not only Canadian system, like the Western economy, the capitalist idea generally, is not built for workers, it's built for business people. So, first, you cannot save for retirement by working. When you work with retire, I told you need about 1.7 million to retire well in Canada. Now, when you get 20, you just sit down, calculate how much you are making, calculate how much you need to save month by month, year by year, to be able to raise 1.7 million in 22 or 25 years that you need to work. And you will see that it's technically not possible. Now, if it's not possible, why are you doing it? If you cannot reach your goal, why do you even start the journey if you cannot reach your goal? Right? That's the first reason why you need to do business. Business will help you reach there faster. Number 2 reason is taxes is not favorable to employees. Take, for example, I work and I have a good work. I just took another work with Red River College as manager of enterprise applications yesterday. But my wife has never worked. Why do we have that plan? My wife runs a daycare. Why do we say, why should we run a daycare? Because we wanted to make sure that every single dime we pay for taxes, we're getting it back. So we used her business to do our taxes. Because if both of us are working and making money, she's making money, even right now, my tax is about 43%. Oh. Yeah, 43%. That's my tax. So I think my wife comes in again to work. Where do you go to? At the end of the day, you are sharing the taxes with government. So somebody who is running a daycare and is making lesser money than you and them will live the same quality of life. That is the way society is built. That's why you see no poor man in Canada. Somebody who is cleaning houses and you that you are working in this will get the same amount of money because where is lacking, government will take your tax and give them. Right? That's why you need to think beyond, you just want to work. 3 jobs, 4 jobs. What you need is the time to build your business. And this is the advice I always give people when they ask me, oh, so how do I build my business in Canada? I say, don't kill yourself with work. See, I have many Indian friends. One of them told me something one day. This guy makes an average of $700,000 every month. And he told me, he said he was a taxi driver in Canada. And I asked him, so how do you come about this? He said, look, when he was a taxi driver, if he goes out to drive and he knows that they only need $200 to eat for that day, he said he will only go out, make $200 and come back home. And then spend the rest of the time on his business. And that changed the way I think about making money in Canada. And that's what we have always done. I always encourage people. Don't go and get jobs that will kill your time and everything because of high payment. Get a job that will be okay for you to feed your family. You see? And then spend the rest of the time you have, building your business.
Nice.
If you only need 50,000 to build your business, get a job of 50,000 and use that time to focus on your business. If you don't need a job of 100,000, don't take it. Because at the end of the day, what matters is, can you be able to retire well? Remember, you have 25 years to pay mortgage. And many of us will retire and we are still paying mortgage. I don't want anybody to have that experience, but it will be a bad experience. So you need to build business for taxes. You need to build business for your own personal wealth. And just imagine, look at Chinese. How many Chinese do you see working where you are working? But if you are working in CRA, you can see how their taxes are done. And you can see how much they are making. How many Indians are working where we are working? It's only we and the Filipinos that are working.
Yes, it's true.
So we are the pawns in the chess game. We are the pawns in the chess game. Let's do business. If not for taxes, it will make you rich one day. See, we started Azure Pro 4 years ago. Our first year was $30,000 in transactions. Now we are talking about more than $5 million in transactions. One day, it will be a $1 billion company.
Amen.
We will employ Black people. You see? So let's think like a farmer rather than a hunter. That's my advice on that.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Thank you. So we're going to be throwing this open. Do you have any question? You can put up your hands and ask your question. Anyone? Question? You need clarification on anything? Please put up your hands and ask your question. Wow, we have spent like 1 hour, 15 minutes. And if there is no question, we're going to be rounding up now. And I'm just going to be, okay, there's a question about iPhone. iPhone, can you ask your question? Please introduce yourself.
Okay, hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Leah Ajiboye.
Okay.
Of course, I've enjoyed and I've gained so much from the presentation. Well, most of my questions has been answered. The last one I wanted to ask was answered, but I'm not totally, I want to know what is the risk mitigation in case someone dies. He said, yes, it will be taken care of, but what is that taken care of in what sense? I want to know that. Then the second question is, okay, what is the maximum amount? If you are interested, you want to do their job, what is the maximum amount you can do on, is it on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis on that? That's the second question. Okay, so I think, yeah, The third question will come maybe in this question. If he's able to answer what the two questions, then I will need to ask the third question.
Thank you, Leah Ajiboye. Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much,
Fantastic.
Leah.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic question. So let me answer this question this way. Let's start with the second question, right? Which is, how much can we do in Azure Pro and things like that. So for the second question, in Azure Pro 2.0, because that's where we are going to. The idea is not about how much you want to do, because we are now relying on our intelligence system to tell you how much you can do that will not break your bank. So you just need to tell us how much you want to take when you finish, and maybe your income, your expenses. We will use your disposable income to compute and create a plan for you to achieve your goal. So that's simple to answer. Let's now get to the main question, the elephant in the room. If somebody dies on Azure Pro, how do we manage it? First, let me assure you of this. What we have done is to create an internal process to handle this. And we don't want to handle it like a bank. So there are two things that happen when somebody dies. The first thing that happens is that person may owe money to us, may have money in Azure Pro. You are saving, you have saved 10,000 in Azure Pro, and the person died. That's one scenario. So use case number one. Another use case is that person collected money from Azure Pro, and then he died. So let's not just assume that it's only when person collects money, right? It may also be that the person also has money in Azure Pro. So we address those two situations. So let's take it from number one. Somebody saved money in Azure Pro and he died. In Azure Pro, we have a KYC, which they call Know Your Client. In our KYC, one of the things you tell us is your net of kin. So what happens if somebody dies on Azure Pro that Azure Pro is owing their money? You take that money, you give it to your net of kin. Okay, that contribution stops over there. What if the use case number two is, okay, the person now collects money from Azure Pro and then he dies. How do we solve that? Very simple. Like I always say, I prefer thinking out of the box. I don't do traditional things. The way I approach this problem when we're solving it is simple. I'm like, do we want to be part of the problem or part of the solution? My team member agreed that we want to be part of the solution. So we started by saying, anybody that dies on Azure Pro, every single dollar to send that they owe will be written off. That's the problem. So how do we get there? We start with the problem and we round the solution. So now we have decided that every single person that dies on Azure Pro, we don't want to collect the money back from their family. We don't want to spend their family. We want to make sure that we write the money off. Okay, how do we get there? This is where we got there. We created a system that has what we call marginal write-off. What does that mean? What it means is, anytime you are taking money from Azure Pro will never give you money that they cannot write off based on our profit margin for that year. So let's say our profit margin, and just give an example, is 10,000 for that year. We cannot give you money more than 10,000. Are you getting me? So now, let's say we are giving you that money and that person dies on Azure Pro. The first thing we did is we will do is to write a letter to that family and let them know what that person has done, how much it owes us. But as our own parting gift to the family, we are giving you this money as a write-off. Now, how do we solve that problem in our bank ledgers? So at the tax return year, which we do every year, we will take that money as a bad debt and we will use it for tax return. But remember, as an individual, you don't have power to do that, except you are a legal corporation. So that is where we solve that problem. I'm there.
So the
Does
member
that figure out that question for you?
The member of the team, as in the people in the pool that is with in the pool, they're not affected in any way.
So yes, they are not affected. That's why we say you are not dealing in Azure Pro. We say you are not dealing with your friend.
Oh,
you're not dealing with your family. You are
Okay.
dealing with Azure Pro. You are doing your Azure on a virtual, we call it a virtual roster. Technically, in Azure Pro, you're not even doing Azure with anybody.
Oh.
If you want to go technical, but let's not go to that side. It's an algorithm. You are only doing Azure with the computer. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Abiola, can you unmute and ask your question?
Okay, thank you so much, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just want to make a little addition to what Mr. Akeem said. For me, I think that to the extent that the probability of default of one individual is very low and remote. So even if it's not a case of death, I want to believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that to the extent that the probability from over the last 4 years that you have operated, to the extent that the probability that one person would default out of, say, 1,300 people that you said currently use it is low, then it means that you would be able to make provisions and accommodate for it without affecting every other person that is making the contribution. Now, in the event that somebody default, because somebody might lose his job, or maybe it doesn't have to be a case of death. The person might even be a recalcitrant contributor, member of the platform, who is just not interested in paying for whatever reason it is. Do you also go by way of saying you send the account to collection? Because in this case, it's not a case of death. It's not a natural disaster. Do you send the account to collection? Do you make good use of the instruments that the Canadian government have put in place for you to be able to recover the money? So whilst the company might bear that loss in the interim from your own profit margin, like you rightly said, but the company also ensures that so that others also don't do that. And at the same time, the company doesn't continue to bear losses on an annual basis. Do you also make use of the instrument of government by sending the account to collection, and of course, making sure that you're able to also redeem that from the person as well? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gola, for that. You know, the good thing about Canada is that we have, as a company, we have a lot of power. Just imagine you go to dealership and you get a car and you don't pay. What do you think dealership will do? They send your name to collection. Azure Pro has the power to send your name to collection. But let me tell you one extra layer for you. The purpose of a company drives the company. We have had 2 cases since we started that they had issue with payment. One of them lost their job. One of them actually made a bad investment. Even though the person did not take Azure Pro money for investment, but the person made a bad investment. Now, what do we do? We have the power to send them to collection and get our money. So we didn't do that. What did we do? We called them and say, okay, now you are not able to pay your 500, for example. If you change it to $250 for you, you'll be able to make it without any problem. Person said, definitely. I remember setting up the account to $250 for that person for the last 6 months. One single payment has not made to them. The same thing applies to the second person. That person has not finished his own, and he has started another one. But I could have sent their name to collection and get my money instantly. But that person will have a bad experience because that would not be different from bank. What bank will do. So you see, the way I think is this: even though we have the instrument of government, right? We have it, we can use it if that should be the last resort. So let's say I call those people up and say, you have this problem, what do you want to do? And they say, no, I don't want to pay it. I just don't want to pay it. I just feel like I can take the money away. In that situation, I can show them the power of government of Canada. Do you understand? But if that person tells me, oh, I lost my job, I did something wrong, you send them to collection. When you go to collection, one single collection, it takes 7 years. 7 years out of your life in Canada. What does that mean? You can't buy it. You can't even rent a house.
Wow.
You can't rent a house. It will be on your profile for good 7 years. Doesn't mean that after 7 years, you're okay. That's not what it means. And after 7 years, people will now start to look at you and see you, because that thing will be on your face. They'll be, you are collecting everything. They will now start, maybe you're supposed to get $3 interest, they charge you 7%. So if you technically for your life, the only way we want to use that power, even though we have it, is for the last resort. And I've done this for 4 years. I've dealt with hundreds of people, thousands of them. I've seen that most immigrants who come to Canada, they are genuinely, they want to live their life in quietness and do their business and succeed.
Yeah.
You know? So, Mr. Abiola, I agree with you. We have that power. And we actually have a collection that does that for us. But we have never used it. And I don't plan to use it except for, an extreme thing. That the person wants to prove that they are negotiating to us.
Wow, fantastic.
I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think you've also mentioned the fact that the probability of default that you have seen has just been maybe 2 occasions, which is a very infinitesimal percentage in terms of the total volume of transactions that you've done. So thanks. I think that clarifies it for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that's awesome. Do we have any other question? We're going to be rounding up now. And I'm going to be giving Mr. Akeem the chance to give us the last words, your advice.
So I think the person before me said that after answering the 2 questions, that she has a third question, a follow-on question.
Okay, Leah Ajiboye, you see that? Do you have questions for us? Okay, I'm seeing one hand. VA.
Okay.
Okay. So let's have Leah before VA, please.
Okay, thank you. So my last question is just, okay, how do we join if I want to be part of Azure Pro? What do I need? What are the process? That's just my last question.
That's very simple. Azure Pro is on Google Play. Azure Pro is on Apple Store. If you are using Android, just go to Google Play, download Azure Pro, install it, register, get started. If you are using Apple, just go to App Store, find Azure Pro, you'll see it there. And I always encourage people to read the reviews before you download it. Read what people are saying. People are not free. They've been using this for 4 years. We have hundreds of reviews there. So read their reviews, see what they are saying before you join them, right? So that you also know that, okay, you are not just taking the wrong review. But if you are joining Azure Pro, I will encourage you to actually, you can download, but wait till June 3rd, because we have a lot of promotion that day. You will probably get it, cheaper, because I think we have something that says for the first 100 people that download and register that very day in that event, we are giving them their first money for contribution up to $100.
Wow.
So it means if you start that day and you register that day, we are depositing $100 in your account directly to start your contribution with.
I'll be the first.
That may be cheaper for you, and it's just maybe 1 week a week. So that would be my encouragement.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. Please, what's that date again? June what?
3rd.
Go and set the alarm.
And it is in Soul Sanctuary. You know Soul Sanctuary?
No.
Soul Sanctuary. 2050 February Boulevard.
Okay, maybe you can drop the address.
Yeah, I will drop the address.
And the invite.
Exactly. Do you mind dropping the address on the chat room for us?
Yes, I'll try and do that now. Give me 1 minute.
And put the Eventbrite invite so that people can register for the event.
Yeah, I'll just do that right away.
Yeah, while he's doing that, VA, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, thank you very much. I had sent a chat to UCNB Hub. Well, I guess you didn't see it. I joined really late, so I may have missed this part. I was wondering, from what Mr. Akeem said, you had mentioned that you're able to write off bad debts if you're a legal entity, right? I was just wondering if you're able to shed more light on what the company is registered as. Is it a corporation? Is that why you're able to do it, or is it not for profit?
Thank you so much, Jane. So we're registered as a corporation. Now we're actually federally registered across Canada. So, but I don't think it's only incorporation that can write off, that can be corrected. But I think even my wife did here that it's a sole proprietorship can write off bad debt. I think it's a power that people don't know they have, and I think it's the way you use it, right? If you definitely have a bad debt, you have to write it off. For us, if somebody collects money and dies, it's a bad debt. It's a bad debt. We're not saying if you collect money, you do not pay. Remember, if you collect money and you do not pay, if you collect money and it doesn't die, the person is dead. How do you collect the money from the person? Yeah, we can say the family should pay, but we don't want to do that if we have a better way to do it.
Thank you.
I think Isabella wants to do something.
Well, I just want to make a comment on that from my own little knowledge. I think what Mr. Akeem is trying to say is that when you have a bad debt, it comes as an expense to the company. So once you write off the loan, once a loan is written off as a bad debt, or maybe a receivable is written off as a bad debt, it becomes tax deductible for the purpose of calculating your tax. And I guess that's what Mr. Akeem is trying to refer to. So it helps you because it increases your expenses, reduces your taxable profits because it's an unliable tax deductible expense. And to that extent, you pretty much get more or less like a somewhat tax shield, so to say, just because you've written off that debt. And I guess that's what he's trying to say. And that applies to the best of my knowledge, it applies to whether you're an incorporated entity or you're an enterprise.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you. So do we have any other questions?
I think I put the Eventbrite page on this, so you can click on that link. It will take you to the Eventbrite page and you can register.
Awesome. So do we have any other question? Because we're rounding up now. For those of us that are not part of it, Dami or Yemi, please ask your question. I'm going to be putting the link to our Telegram group. That is where people that are interested in doing business in Canada, we put ourselves together to share information. You can join us. And we have chat sessions like this, Market Square chats, where we bring people that are in business to encourage us. We glean wisdom from them so that we can, launch into business in Canada. They encourage us, they give us tips, they show us how they hold our ends. We're going to be having a lot of mentors on the platform very soon. They are going to be walking us through the stages of registering business in Canada and succeeding in them. Dami or Deyemi, please, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Akeem, I wanted to know, do you have partners, like known partners here in Canada, or you're just standalone? Is it just you doing it?
That's a very good question. So let me answer it this way. If you are doing business as standalone, I don't think you are started. Business is a teamwork. And when you say a team, it's not three lawyers coming together and saying a point from a team. So on my team, we have people who are professional finance people. We have people who are professional IT people. And we have people who are professional community people. So we have about 10 partners in Azure Pro now. When we started, it was just 3 people. Myself, Producing, and Daletena. So, but now we have expanded the team. In Canada, we have like almost 10 people now. In the US, we have 3 people who have also partnered with us to start the US branch. And we are still expanding the team because now we have what we call availability zone. And what does that mean? Availability zone means that you can decide that you want to do a job. You have been doing a job and you have 10 people with you that have been doing a job for you. We have created a platform for you to scale. So you can partner with us. We will give you an availability zone. You will start your job. Now you can do a job anywhere in Canada. As long as you know someone who will join your platform, it will be you doing the job. And now your job will not just be us. It will be something you are making money from. So if you are interested in also joining our availability zone, I mean, you can reach out to me personally. I mean, I will introduce the form to you. I will show you the team that can work with you. I will do that. They will make 2 separate presentations to you about Azure Pro and then about the business side of Azure Pro. So if you decide to do the business side of Azure Pro, they will give you a form to fill. We will create availability zone for you, and you will start, your own Azure. Just the same thing that I'm doing. You can do it in Canada with our platform.
Okay, just a follow-up question. Do you have like partners in the mainstream financial institution? Like, are you partners with other little financial institutions, say ATB Bank or New Financial, all these small, or it's just you? Do you have other institutions in Canada that you are partnered with?
And so that kind of partnership, I want to understand. So we have bankers that we bank with. We have payment gateways that process our money. We have merchant accounts that put our money together, right? So would you call those people partner? I won't call them partner in my thinking. I think they are holding our accounts. They are giving us gateway services. But I won't call them partners. But if that's the definition you have for partnership, then definitely, yes, we have plenty of financial people that we work with. We have credit union, we have normal bank, we have digital commerce bank, we have 11, we have Exactly. We have different things that we use in our platform to make it what it is. Because remember, it's a platform, right? Is something that needs a lot of APIs to work. Tons of communications around to work, right? So, but I don't know if that, I don't know, I mean, I may be wrong. I don't think that is what I would call partner. I believe partners are people who have invested in my business or who have been business with me, but I may be wrong.
Yeah, sounds good. I got it. So if I want to learn more about the availability zone, how do I connect with you, or where do I get the information from?
I can give you a number to call on availability zone. And if you want to speak with me, I can speak to you about it, but I will speak directly to somebody who is in charge of availability zone in Canada.
Yeah, sure. I would not mind that. Thank you.
I'll put the number here.
Thank
if you.
you.
Call him and you talk to him that you want to get an availability zone, you will definitely help you. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Akeem. As we round up, I have sent you like 3 times now. I just want to ask this last question. So, like, what is the longest term on like the highest position someone can get? You talked about 10, like it can be 10th position, but what's the longest? Is it within a 12-month period that you can pick your contribution? Do you get my question?
Azure Pro is actually within 12 months.
12 months, okay.
Yeah, because remember that 12 months can be 24 30 or can be 26 30, depending whether it is bi-weekly or semi-monthly.
Oh, okay.
So, but everything has to round up within a year. You can do 4 months if you want. You can do 6 months. You can do 5 months. But it is based on the income and expenses that you put in, and the amount of the amount of time you want that you select. So to create those plans for you and allow you to choose one of those plans.
Okay.
So, but from beginning to the end, it has to be within 1 year. Minimum of 4 or 3 months, maximum of 12 months.
Okay. Great. Thank you. So what is your last word for us? What do you want to say before we just wind up?
Thank you so much. My last word is always the same. Business is the only way in Canada for you to get to your goal. The Canadian system is not created for people who work. Oh. And you can see that even in the life of Canadians. See those who have worked for sure for 30 years or 40 years, see how they are living. If that's not the kind of life you want to live, then you need to change the way you think about it. Secondly, don't go, if your goal is to build a business, don't go looking for business work that will pay you so much that will distract you. Get what you feed you, then focus on your business. If you need only 30,000 to survive, get a job for 30,000. That gives you a lot of time to do your business. For example, I left my job at B12 since November. I left because I wanted to focus on Azure Pro. Yeah, I'm paid well, but it's not giving me the time. In these 5 months, I built Azure Pro to a place where I felt that this is what I want to achieve. I've gotten there. When I saw an opportunity that came with Red River, yeah, they're not paying me as much as this way will pay me, but it's practically a union environment. No, I'm not going to be doing anything much. You understand? I decided, okay, I'm going to take this one. It's not going to pressure me. That is the way I want you to think. If you are doing 3 jobs, 4 jobs, 5 jobs, please stop it. No. You just need to get what you need to survive. Then use that time you have to create your business. You will never see anybody that will call a successful poor businessman. But you can hear a successful professor that is poor, right? You can hear a successful, engineer that is poor. But you can never hear a successful businessman that is poor. If he's successful in business, he's successful. So thank you so much. Have a fruitful day. Enjoy yourself. Smell the roses. Don't work too much and not smell the roses. Go on vacation. Relax. That's when you think. Thank you very much.
Vacation. That one, we have to do Azure Pro for that vacation. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We had about 19 people on this call at some point. We are 17 now. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us, and we trust that you've been blessed. You've gotten a lot of information, and you have been able to glean some wisdom from our chats this evening. If you're not on our platform, the Canada NaijaBusiness, please join. I've dropped the link in the chat. Please join us there. We just share information. People can come ask questions, and we are trying to get more mentors into the group so that questions can get answered, and they can hold our hands in, establish our own business also in Canada. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday evening with us. So till the next time when we have another chat with another successful business person, Naija business person in Canada, I would say it's a goodbye. Thank you, and have a fruitful and blessed week. Bye.